Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, Professor Vidali, I didn't understand the 1 billion figure you used in relation to the Northwest.
Oh, the billion a year?
Yeah.
It's the FEMA estimate from a few years ago was 600, 800 million for Oregon and Washington annual losses. And so I guess maybe I rounded up to a billion.
I don't know what you mean annual. I mean, in the event of a 9.0 or greater,
yeah,
I would assume the losses would far exceed $1 billion.
Right. I didn't give the number for the magnitude 9. I gave $1 billion a year on long-term average of the expected losses in earthquakes.
Okay.
And for magnitude 9, the estimate is 50 to 100 billion.
Right. 50 to 100 billion.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So is anybody on this panel think that the federal government, given the potential for 50 to 100 billion dollar calamity, which could be partially mitigated, we're investing enough money in either research or development of and deployment of technology for to provide early warning? Anybody think we're spending enough? Anybody? Okay, no one. Good. Because I'd be very surprised if you did. You know, the issue seems to me, I think it was Dr. Leith who talked about it, we spent $10 million, wow, since 1999. We're looking at a $100 billion problem in the Pacific Northwest. We spent $10 million. You talk about countries like, I think you said Romania, Mexico. They've deployed early warning systems, and the United States of America hasn't. We have a prototype. Did theirs not work? Do we have to develop new technology? Isn't there technology today that would at least mitigate the loss of life in the Northwest with the advent of a tsunami that we could deploy? We might improve it later.
Is that a question?
It's a question to either of you. I wanted the two of you.
No, I think we should build the early warning system. The physics is simple. We know how to do it. It's a bit of a challenge to make sure we don't get false alarms, and that we have to adapt the emergency broadcasting system to react in seconds rather than minutes.
But I mean, if Romania can do it, can't the United States of America? I don't know. I guess we've fallen so far, and the Republicans are disinvesting so much we can't. But this is crazy.
In these other countries, Japan, Mexico, Turkey, that have either existing systems or developing systems, those decisions were all made after major earthquake disasters.
So we got to wait till
for example, the Kobe earthquake that hit Japan in 1995. It was after that disaster that there was a national political will to install an earthquake early warning system and bring up the base of earthquake preparedness countrywide. That paid off heavily in the Tohoku earthquake from 2011.
Okay.
There was the tsunami damage was of course horrendous, but the earthquake-related shaking damage was much less, and as was mentioned, that system performed. So there seems to need to be a national political will in order to make the investment.
Okay.
And I just wanted to emphasize the magnitude of the investment that they're making in Japan. It's $1 billion for their seismic monitoring system. It's probably another $1 billion for the seafloor instrumentation they're putting down now. And China's launched into a multi-$100 million seismic monitoring system, and they're planning early warning that's quite sophisticated as well.
Right. So if the United States could afford as much as Japan, that'd be $2 billion toward 100 million and thousands of lives potentially lost or saved. Yeah. Thank you. Quickly on to another subject, induced seismicity. We don't really seem to know a lot about it. Again, do you have are you getting the data you need? Are you getting the resources you need to investigate induced seismicity? Because this is another issue of potential prevention. Not to cause these problems in areas that could provide tremendous risk near nuclear plants or other facilities.
On the resources side, Congress provided us an extra $1 million this year, which is being put to good use, and the administration has requested an addition in the fiscal 15 budget. On the data side, we don't have all the data that we need. In particular, there's a shortcoming in the data on the injection activities themselves. The wastewater disposal wells are regulated under the Safe Drinking Water Act, and earthquakes were not really, I don't think, considered when that was put together. And so most of the EPA and most of the states don't require the kind of precise data that's necessary to both understand that as a national problem or to do the kind of forensics that one would want to do to connect a particular damaging earthquake with a particular injection activity.
Okay, thank you. My time's expired. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.